Thank you guys for coming, by the way, to the 25th anniversary of the Academy Film Archive with a very unique opportunity to view a Hollywood classic just as audiences would have experienced in 1952. Singing in the Rain didn't start with a story. It started with a song, well, actually several songs, in fact. Screenwriters Betty Comden and Adolph Green, the writing team behind On the Town, were given the task of weaving together MGM producer Arthur Freed and Nacio Herb Brown's songs into an entirely new musical. Most of the film's songs were originally written in the 1920s, most notably the title song, Singing in the Rain, which was originally written for the Hollywood Review of 1929. That's pretty cool. Fitting together a mixture of songs from the Freed catalog into a seamless story was no easy task. Writer Adolph Green said there was nothing more difficult, even comparing to the job to higher mathematics. However, once Comden and Green settled on a central idea, Hollywood's transition to sound, the script began to fall into place. The film has numerous references to the late silent and early sound era of Hollywood, with many of the film's characters being modeled after real people. The character of gossip columnist Dora Bailey, seen in the film's opening sequence at the Grauman's Chinese Theater, was loosely modeled after Hollywood gossip columnist Luella Parsons. It's a real person. The character of director Roscoe Dexter was modeled after Busby Berkeley, and apparently the character of studio head R.F. Simpson is said to be modeled after producer Arthur Freed himself. Don Lockwood's laughable dialogue in the disastrous preview of the all-talking The Dueling Cavalier was loosely based on one of John Gilbert Sound's films, Redemption, in 1930. But what truly helped to breathe new life into the film's songs was Gene Kelly's innovative choreography. And I just have to speak to that. He wildly inspired me. One thing about Gene Kelly's choreography that I always look at and go back to was his use of his surroundings and use of props. And for me, that was so exciting. I was like, wow, you can use like a lamppost. You know, I remember being 10 years old in New York City, and I'm sure we can always all relate, but we find a lamppost and we all hang off of it. And we're all like, oh, Sing in the Rain, you know? It's iconic, and it's definitely true to my heart. Gene's choreography for Singing in the Rain not only showcases his versatility as a dancer, but also skillfully emphasizes the strengths of Gene's co-stars. Donald O'Connor's background in vaudeville enabled him to bring an immeasurable athleticism to the part of Cosmo Brown. By the way, if you look at that scene, you took like break dancing and b-boys, you know, now do all this kind of stuff, you know. If you see him, he's doing some crazy stuff, and that's where it was born, I feel like. It was. B-boys know what's up about Donald O'Connor. Yo, that O'Connor, man. Okay. In the Make 'Em Laugh scene, Donald runs up a wall and completes a somersault, a move that was one that Donald had performed many times on stage. To give himself confidence for the sequence, Donald brought his brother over to help him. He actually rehearsed with a rope. He tied it on a rope and practiced with him. So it's kind of cool, too. I find this very interesting. In contrast, 19-year-old Debbie 19 years old, wow. 19-year-old Debbie Reynolds was not a trained dancer. I know that feeling. Training a non-dancer. Despite the grueling rehearsal and shooting schedule, Kelly found Debbie to be a great copyist and strong as an ox, while Debbie called Gene the most exciting director I've ever worked with. I want to work with him. But perhaps the most iconic of all the film's dance sequence is the film's main number featuring Kelly, an umbrella, and an artificial downpour. Kelly's collaboration with Freed, Donnan, and Comden and Green, and the many other artists, turned Singing in the Rain into a warm and nostalgic look into one of Hollywood's most important periods of transition, which would change the face, or rather the voice, of pictures for all time.